I get it. I see what you're doing there. Hey, everybody. Here, let's get this a little more towards Elliot. So you can see that beautiful face. Sleepy E, as we're calling him today.
Very sleepy.
My man is tired.
Man, I'm just too old to stay up till 4 a.m.
No shit, buddy.
Yeah.
No shit. Yeah, I feel you.
I'm just simply too old.
Again, to say it again, you were still awake when I woke up for work.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah. All right, should we do it?
It'd be funny if I said no.
It would be. No, hold on.
Yeah.
I need some time.
Yeah, let me just, well, it's already tweeted out. Okay.
I didn't do that. See?
Yeah.
The good thing you said that. Then I would have been embarrassed because I pushed you to start, and then I didn't even do my own job.
Which is rare.
You're
good at doing
I'm good at my job.
You're good. And then you say that.
I do what I need to do
Yes.
to get things done. You know, that's just how I do, Elliot. Maybe everyone doesn't, but I do. Are you ready?
That's why you're one of the most important media members in the city.
All right, you ready?
Yes.
All right. Hold up one second. Okay, I was making sure we're doing something weird with the audio. We're good now.
We're good now.
All right, so let's start it. Here we go. Now we're really starting. Get ready. All right. Hey, hello. It is the Go Birds podcast presented by the Bet Parks Sportsbook and Casino app. Elliott Shore Parks, James Seltzer with you.
What up?
Parks Picks Pod, buddy.
It's good to be back in Philly.
Yes.
It's good to be doing a Parks Picks pod.
As we love to do.
Yes.
Download the Parks app. Well, Bet Parks app. We'll tell you more about that coming up.
Yes.
And obviously we'll get into some gambling stuff coming up for the Parks Picks Pod. Off the top, though. Now, before we get into it, we're going to get Angel around. It's like, how you doing? We're just talking a little bit with again, we always say, tune in live when we do it.
Yes.
We tweet it out and stuff, and then you get the little behind the scenes stuff because you talk a few minutes before we start.
Yes.
Elliot's tired, guys.
I'm tired.
Elliot is feeling it today.
So I feel like, and I'll never, ever complain, but here I am complaining.
One of my favorite things, it's like the same thing where it's like, listen, I'm not making an excuse.
Oh, I know, but I was hurt. I was sick.
So I have a phrase for that, but I'll say that'll be my final thought. I have a new phrase for that situation when people are like, I'm not gonna make an excuse.
Is it called lying?
No. It's a way to if you're that person, it's a way to get away with it a little bit.
It is. Yeah.
Let's see. I like it.
All right. No, I mean, I'm not. I was up till 4 a.m. Obviously, we talked about it on the last pod, and I just think it's going to take me a while to recover.
I'll bet it is.
So
buddy.
Kristen's still in Canada. So last night I like chilled. I got Chinese. I watched the Sixers game, and even then, I fell asleep at 9. And so Kingsley, our dog, for any new
listeners who don't know Kingsley.
Kingsley was at a dog boarding place the last 2 days. It's so funny to me how tired dogs get when they do that.
Oh, well, it's because they play like crazy.
That's what I mean, right?
They're, it's running around the whole time.
He's just been sleeping 24/7.
So Rube doesn't go to a doggy daycare place because he's a little dick and he, barks at other dogs. And all that. Now Millie loved it. We always used to bring her, and we would pick her up. So they used to give her the all day plaything for the price of an hour of play. Because he used to say, it's just good for everyone. It really has to be out there.
I feel like that's an influence you would have on the dog.
So she had my personality. It's me, Zoe, and Millie.
Right.
But yeah, she used to come home and sleep for a full day. She would just be totally cooked out.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically been sleeping nonstop. He was sleeping on top of the covers.
Who's more tired? You or him?
I feel like me, and I don't really get tired, to be quite honest.
It's rare.
Yeah, I was gonna say you are a tired individual,
yes,
but I don't get as tired. But I will say,
and yet you're here,
and yet I'm here for the people, for the Go Bird people. I actually do a pretty strong opinion on the AJ Brown.
Okay, so set this up because for many like me, you wake up at 3:20 in the morning. Oh wait, there aren't that many.
No. There's about 5 of you.
I kind of missed a little bit of this. I saw some of it this morning, but I don't have the full picture laid out for everybody.
Okay, so for those that don't remember, JuJu Smith-Schuster tweeted the thing about James Bradbury after, with the whole the Valentine's Day thing about holding, right? And then AJ went after him there.
Which, by the way, we didn't really talk about that on the pod when it happened. I think we might have mentioned it,
right.
But I thought AJ was absolutely in the right.
Yeah,
that was a weak.
Agreed.
AJ called it lame, and he was dead right. That was a lame thing for JuJu.
It was. So that happened about, I don't know. It feels like the Super Bowl was 17 months ago. But
it feels like it was 5 years
ago. It was probably only 2 months ago, or 2 weeks ago at this point, that whole thing. So
yeah, I started I'll let me tell you one thing. My days feel really long.
Yeah.
They feel so long.
Well, it's so funny. I feel like now when I think about you, I feel like you're either at work or sleeping.
I know.
I don't think about you being awake during the day. I guess you are, but it doesn't
I'm done at 10 o'clock every day.
That's what I mean.
The whole day in front of me. It is the weirdest. Look, I will say, and we've talked about this, we are both big proponents, especially during the week. Go to bed early.
Oh my God.
I love it. It's a great thing.
Yeah.
I will say, like the give and take, so to speak, of the like, going to bed really early as opposed to staying until 10, 11, whatever.
Yeah, it's
the getting done at 10 a.m. It's totally worth it. Like getting the feeling of getting done at 10 a.m. every day is like invigorating.
Well, and also, so during the off season, like our days are similar in the way that during the day I don't have that much to do. Like during the season, obviously I'm doing a lot more, but it is funny when it's 10 a.m. like, and I'll just be sitting on the couch and I'll be like, well, I guess dinner's in about 7.
So the funny thing is, I eat dinner like 3 o'clock.
That's even better.
Yeah, I'm like the oldest man on the planet.
It's the best.
It is.
But
I'm just finally fulfilling my destiny. Everyone made fun of me for being old. I'm not that old. I'm 41, but for years I've been the old guy around here. I finally fulfilling my destiny.
I said on the pod a few weeks ago, I think retirement homes seem awesome. So like I'm all in.
I pushed back. Yeah.
But okay. So anyway, so the JuJu Smith-Schuster thing happened about 2 weeks ago. Last night, AJ Brown tweets it. I should probably pull it up. Give me 2 seconds.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'll give you 8 seconds. 1, 2. No,
now the pressure's real. Okay. So
that was way less than 8 seconds. That was phenomenal.
I don't even know if I can read this on air. Well, I guess I can. But
it's a pod. All right, ready? Earmuffs. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Go ahead.
So AJ Brown tweets last night at JuJu Smith-Schuster. You really need to find. Hold on. You really need to find you somebody else to play with. Don't let that ring get you beat the F up because I'm with all the dumb I'm not going to speak on it no more. I did my best to, it's not but it's like, yeah. So he tweets that at JuJu Smith-Schuster, and then he tweets a screenshot of what he sent to JuJu, I believe on Twitter, maybe, it was Instagram. So he DMs JuJu Smith-Schuster on Instagram and says, I don't play them kid games. If you want to see me, I'm with it. You better go to Cabo and enjoy your ring and stop fucking with me.
There you go.
Yes. Leave me all off your TikTok, pussy.
Wow.
Yeah, he went hard.
So
then he deletes them both, obviously. And it is funny that
the tweet and delete is my favorite thing on right now. They all know. No, everyone will see it.
Like, dude, the day started yesterday
with a tweet.
And delete, and it ended with a tweet.
It's a great point. What a day for Twitter. For
Eagles always keep it in shit.
So real quick, my first question is he threatening to fight him?
I think he's definitely
like that's the take right there from the DM, right? Like, AJ, I love you, and I think you are absolutely in the right. JuJu is being such a loser. Like, this is like, again, I made this point when it happened. I don't remember if it was on the radio or on the pod, but like it's not like JuJu beat James Bradbury and made some amazing play and is like, oh, happy Valentine, I beat your ass, whatever. He got held. It's like the lamest thing. You did nothing, bro. Like so like the lameness of it all, like whatever. Like AJ, and I'm sure you're not actually gonna fight him, but like, don't fight JuJu. All right, don't put your body.
They actually ran into each other. I don't know.
Don't put your body on. What are we doing? Don't fight anybody. You're a professional NFL wide receiver. You can't be hurting yourself doing dumb. Earmuffs 1, 2, 3. Dumb shit. Okay.
Let me say this: I'm not around JuJu obviously as much as I'm around AJ. Clearly, just like seeing AJ. I would not advise anybody to fight.
Yeah, AJ. I wouldn't fight.
Yeah, I can't imagine that going well for many individuals. But all right, so the last part of this is, so he tweets that stuff at him, deletes it, and so everybody's like, what happened? So I guess JuJu Smith-Schuster with somebody else made a video on TikTok. It was either TikTok or something, and JuJu Smith-Schuster was in it. And I've watched the video about 5 times, and I still can't completely understand what it's about. Basically, at the end of it, like, JuJu Smith's mom has a baby that's a TikTok boy because that's what AJ called JuJu Smith-Schuster a few weeks ago. But the main point of the video is just making fun of the Eagles. It makes fun of the defense. It makes fun of the lack of adjustment. So it makes fun of Gannon in that way. It makes fun of Jalen because Jalen's in it. Not really making fun of him, but like Jalen's in the video. So he makes fun of Bradbury again. Like, so the video itself, if like a fan made it, would just be like, no one would probably even pay attention to it because it's not that good. It's not really that funny. But because JuJu Smith-Schuster's in it, obviously it's a big deal, right? So AJ must have seen it. I'm sure someone like sent it to him or whatever. And clearly he tweeted back at him. And since then, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, of course, has tweeted about it. Darius Slade tweeted about it. Like, so here's my strong opinion on this. You ready? Because as you remember, a few weeks ago, we got into it about the 49ers and their fans. And like, we were kind of on different sides of that, right? The 49ers stuff never really worked me up in the way that, like, I thought what they were doing was lame and a bad look. But I, in some version of me, understood them feeling a little cheated. We won't get into that now.
No, we don't need to
right, yeah,
about
exactly,
this again,
right.
Yes.
But here's the thing I'll say.
Which is hilarious because then obviously we got cheated.
Right.
You know,
well, yeah. Anyway.
We actually got cheated,
Right,
not our quarterback got knocked out of the game in a football.
Right,
game.
right,
No big deal.
right,
No big
right,
deal.
right.
No big
Okay,
deal.
right.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
But as I've said on the pod before, one thing that really aggravates me is bullying. Like, and I just think what JuJu Smith-Schuster is doing is extremely mean-spirited.
It is.
It's just mean.
Well,
like
you won.
James,
it's like have some class.
That's what I'm.
You won.
Right. So James Bradbury didn't do anything to him. James Bradbury, after the game, said he helped.
Yeah, he manned up.
Right. And so maybe there's something going on here that we don't know about, but it doesn't seem like it. Like maybe there's personal dynamics we're unaware of. But what JuJu Smith-Schuster is doing is rubbing it in the face of the Eagles and their players. And to me, that is just very mean. And so AJ, like, look, I think ultimately taking it publicly, tweeting, you could make a 5% argument it's not worth it. But I like it because what it's doing is it's basically sticking up for his teammate, number one. Like James Bradbury, I've had him on the Players Lounge show. I've like known him for a few years, obviously this year. Like he's a quiet guy, you know, like I don't believe he's tweeted anything about this, if I'm not mistaken, right? So he's
Twitter. That's
well, he might not, but I'm just trying to, I don't think he's commented, right? So he's not involved in this. Like all JuJu Smith-Schuster is doing is using James Bradbury to make fun of him, like a bully, like a flat out bully, right? And like, let's be honest, James Bradbury at this point is a better player than JuJu Smith-Schuster. AJ Brown, obviously a better player. Darius Slay, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like, look, man, you won the Super Bowl. You did, and you had like some nice catches, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Ultimately, it's just a bad look for him to continue to rub it in the face of the Eagles, especially when the Eagles are not doing any complaining publicly. Like the Niners stuff, like while I thought it was lame and everything, like at least if the JuJu was like clapping back at the Niners, at least they would have brought it on themselves. Mm-hmm. The Eagles are not bringing this on themselves, and he's not stopping. And like he's now like working with people to make like long videos about it. I just like this to me works me up more than the Niners thing. Wow. Because I think this is just so mean to like these players on this team that, you know, like we talk about a lot from a fan perspective on how losing that Super Bowl hurt. I'm sure the players, and I talked to, you know, seeing them in the locker room, they're devastated by this, you know? And so I just think it's so lame. It's not creative. It's not funny. I don't even think Chiefs fans probably think it's that funny.
I don't think anyone does. It's just dumb.
It's just dumb.
And especially again, to your point, it's like, dude, you're a loser compared to these guys. Like you don't have close to the career that AJ Brown has had and has in front of him.
He was good for a year or two, but that was a long time.
And he's been bouncing around. And it's just a shame that he's probably not going to be back on the Chiefs next year, so we can play him and have that.
I was actually going to look at that.
He's a free agent. So
he is? Okay.
I believe so. I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive he signed a 1-year deal. Maybe they re-upped or
I'll look it up.
Take a look. Because I hope he's on the Chiefs, so we can go at him next year when they play the Chiefs.
Well, I'll say too that the fun part of this, from a sports perspective, is it is adding a ton of fuel to this game.
Absolutely, yeah, and it adds to the rivalry. But I agree with you.
So he's a free agent.
I thought so.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean,
this is a bad move for him. Like he's like, what team is like? Oh, I want that guy who's going to go again. You got held, man. Like you didn't make some amazing play, beat Bradbury, whatever. But, like you have no shit to talk. Sorry, earmuffs.
But to me, I agree with that point. But even if it was Mahomes,
regardless, I agree. Regardless, I'm just saying it adds on 100%. I agree. If it were Mahomes, it would still be lame.
Right.
But the fact that it's JuJu makes it that much lamer.
Right. Well, and also to take this a step further, like, so the Eagles have handled this the right way publicly. They haven't done any complaining. They haven't taken any shots, whatever. And they're still getting clapped at. Yeah. So, like, you know, so part of me is like, what incentive do the Eagles have in the future to handle it this way? I know you can't let JuJu Smith-Schuster impact everything.
Let me be the team spokesperson. They wouldn't handle it that way.
Well, you handled the Niners thing well, so I think they would be fine with you representing them there. But so, like, look, ultimately, and to your point, you know, I don't think they're actually going to fight. I don't, but because they won't run into each other.
If they're in the same place at the same time, who knows?
Keep it this, like, if this game was this weekend, like, and I wouldn't surprise me if, like, before the game there was a thing where, like, they had to be separated. Yeah. Like, I think AJ, and I respect AJ for that. Like, he is flat out sticking up for his teammate. JuJu hasn't said anything about AJ. It didn't start with AJ. It started with Bradbury. AJ inserted himself and stuck up for Bradbury. Frankly, probably because he knew Bradbury was just like a quiet guy and probably wasn't going to do anything. So I respect that. I respect Slay's involved. I respect CJ Gardner-Johnson. Now, his tweet and delete does make me respect his part like a little less because you know. But ultimately, that's my takeaway. I think just it's mean. It's not fair to the players. And like the video is not even that good. But this to me is worse than the Niners thing or whatever. I think it's so corny of them.
Yeah, I think it's corny and lame. I still think the Niners thing is worse because it was like 8 guys coming in. The freaking kicker saying to make Jalen Hurts play quarterback and he could beat it. Like Robbie Gould. Like really? You're a fucking kicker. You're a kicker. You're not even a football player. So whatever. But I'm 100% with you. Like total loser move. Like I would never want JuJu on my team. I wouldn't want to root for him. Like,
well, it would be really funny if he is a slot receiver. Like it would be funny.
Is funny the word?
Funny is not the word, but
there's no way the Eagles.
There's no at this point for sure.
That's my point.
But also like let's say he never did any of this. Like there was never any.
Oh yeah, he's hurting. He took one team off the market.
Yeah,
like Chauncey took Arizona off his
market. And
not
to mention one team that potentially could have, has had interest in him before needs to upgrade its slot receiver. Like, and if he never does any of this and they sign JuJu Smith-Schuster, our reaction is probably like, that's a good pickup.
Sure.
So I think it's very dumb.
I'm with you. Not much else to say. All right, let's get to the Parks Picks pod. Let's dive into some gambling first. Download the BetParks Sportsbook and Casino app. This app is we've had so much fun over the years gambling on this app, talking about it with everyone. Again, basketball betting is back. I've been making some basketball bets.
Yes.
I'm dipping my toes back in. Elliot's going to have some soccer action. The futures, you can bet on individual player performances, which on a night of basketball, and there's a bunch of games, there are a few things more fun.
Well, and the other thing too is, look, we both gamble. So we can't sit here and say, we don't understand people who don't. But there are some people who just don't want to do it. But here's what I would say about the Parks app for people that just don't really feel comfortable or haven't done it. It's a great way to preview games too. So tonight, the Sixers are playing the Mavs. They're -3.5, right? Sixers are better than the Mavs. The Mavs are
back-to-back, right?
Back-to-back, right? But I see that and I think, okay, is Embiid not playing? It's hard. You can use the lines to preview games and to learn about the game. And again, I always say it during the Eagles game season, but looking at halftime, looking at when they fall behind 7-0. I think that we've moved to a place with sports where it's updated so quickly and there's so much invested in it that the lines and the spreads are a crucial part of analyzing the game.
Download the app now in the App Store, Google Play Store, or at betparks.com. Use our promo code GOBIRDS. That's GOBIRDS. $750 in site credit back if your first bet is not a winner. You must be 21 and present in Pennsylvania or New Jersey. Gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. All right, soccer. I want to start with soccer.
Okay.
What's going on with some soccer betting? If I'm looking into, because every year we talk about this, and every year it seems super fun, and you're making money and you're doing stuff, and I'm never in it enough. This is the year I'm getting in.
Okay.
I'm jumping on board. Go first of all for new listeners, because we did get some new listeners during Super Bowl. Thank you, welcome. We love everybody.
Yes.
Give your base soccer game, because I think this is actually very helpful for people if you're looking to get into betting.
Oh yeah,
soccer,
we've done. Yeah, that's right. It's been a while since we've done this.
Been a while. Your base gambling theory with soccer that has proven to be pretty successful.
So obviously, I'm sure a large port. Well, I shouldn't say that. I think there's probably some people that don't follow soccer closely that are listening to the pod. But if you're someone that likes to win money, there is, I think, in soccer a distinct advantage that I don't think is there in other sports. So I read this book a year ago, and it was, about a bunch of different things with soccer. But one thing it pointed out was, if you look historically at games, basically more than any other sport, soccer is a coin flip, right? In basketball, the favorites win the majority of the time, whatever. With soccer, obviously the favorites win, but if you look historically, it can be 50-50. But the difference is when you look at lines. So if I'll use let's say Man City, Arsenal's top now, but Man City, I guess, gets more betting favorites, but whatever. So Man City is playing, I'll pick Southampton. Southampton's the worst team in the league. Man City's probably the best. If you look at that, it's City is probably going to be, or Southampton actually is probably going to be plus 800. So they're probably not going to win. But because it's soccer and because of the way the sport is played, there is at least I think it's better than plus 800. So if you consistently bet
more than 1 out of 8 times,
and especially if they're at home underdogs in soccer are extremely advantageous for betting. So if you want to get into start following soccer like you want to, or a way to do this, and you can do it with the MLS too, but a way to do this is open the app, look at who's home that weekend, find the underdogs and bet the underdogs, and you will end up on top, because ultimately soccer is such a coin flip that the long odds don't always accurately depict the chance, I think, of that team winning the game.
Yeah, and it's been pretty successful for Elliot over the years. So it's a really interesting technique to betting soccer, and I think it's fun to bet soccer. The games run during the day because there's
they're in the morning too. Yeah,
morning and all that. So it gives you another thing to like look towards and have some fun with gambling.
Well, here's another soccer gambling tip I'd have. So actually, it's funny. I got into a debate this morning with my friends on like who's the fourth team in the city, the Flyers or the Union, and I don't know if you have an opinion on that, but
I mean. I would I would say the Flyers, but I think it's a lot closer.
That's where I fall on.
I think it's really close.
That's where I fall on.
But I think it's still the Flyers. But like let's put it this way: if nothing changes and the teams,
I think the trajectories are.
That's my point. Yeah. I think that the Flyers are absolutely in danger of becoming five.
Yeah. What I'll say. So I don't like to be the person. Like I just started following the Union closely like a year ago. Like, I'm not like this diehard. Like everybody has to follow blah blah blah. The thing here's what I would say to people: following the Union has been a ton of fun for me. It's like another Philly team to support. It's the games are really fun, and ultimately, like I enjoy watching the Sixers. I don't like know basketball X's and O's super well. I enjoy it because it's the Sixers, right? So the Union are another team that I think are fun to follow. But from a gambling perspective, the Union score a ton of goals.
Really?
A ton of goals. They won their first game 4-1. Last year they went on a stretch where they had like 7 goals, 6 goals.
Are they as good this year as
they brought back all their
championship.
Yeah, they're
type roster.
Yeah. Now again, it's soccer, so like it's really it can
change
like
year to year.
Yeah, but they brought back all their starters from last year. But here would be my gambling advice, and I don't have it up in front of me. My guess is they're probably the favorite to win the cup. So as people that listen to the pod know, we don't really like betting favorites. but a fun bet I think is anytime goal scorers like Julian Carranza. I think for the first game, he was plus 200 to score. He scored twice. Like Gazdag, he, I think, either led the league in goals last year or was close to it, or it might have been Carranza. But he, again, like anytime goal scorers are almost always plus money, and the Union score a ton of goals. So this Saturday night, they're playing Miami, which is going to be a fun game. If you're looking to like get into it, I think like betting that game where you do like Carranza to score or Gazdag, like I think it's a good way to get money.
I've never heard of those guys.
And a year ago, I hadn't either.
Nice line.
Yeah.
But what I will say is, I think that was phenomenal advice.
Thank you.
Seriously, because we talk about it all the time. It's my whole thing. Like it's that. Honestly, the reason I like it, like, look, we are very open about the type of gamblers we are. Neither Elliot and I
bet to win.
Yeah, like
well, no, but
we want to win.
Like we're not stressing out the bets.
We are not like professionally betting, or we are not betting large sums of money on things or whatever. Right. I bet because I think it is so much. I watch sports every day of my life, and I watch Philly sports, obviously, where I have a connection and I care. But I'm
opening up that.
Yeah, I watch a ton of other sports. I watch,
Yeah.
5 baseball games a night. I'm flipping around doing all that stuff. Like it just these games that you love the sport, but you don't have anything past that invested in. Like it makes it so much more fun to have something on it, to have a reason to care even more. So the Union thing is really interesting to me because again, I've not gotten into the Union, but I would like to be more of a Union guy.
Dude,
and betting on it seems like such an obvious way to go about it.
I do hate the whole, not hate is strong, but I do think sometimes it cheapens the Union when people do the please follow them. Like, please, like, I just started doing it last year. I went to a game last week. First of all, I ran into a ton of Eagles fans. Mm-hmm. So I think the game itself is really fun. Obviously, I want you to come to a game with me this year. I would love to do that. But, now that you barely only ever sleep.
I know. Yeah. Well, it's Saturday. I can do Saturday.
Yeah, Saturday night for sure. Yeah. But I was even thinking it'd be fun to do, we have that Go Birds, Real One Auto Downloader group to, do a night out there.
Oh, so, that's a fun idea.
Yeah. But I would just say to people, now that I'm on the pod in the safe zone, dude, it's really fun. I am surprised. I am surprised how much I'm into it.
I'm surprised how much you're into it. Yeah. You are into it.
Yeah.
You're like
I bought season tickets.
You're like a borderline Union influencer.
I kind of am. I kind of am the number one Union influencer.
You should be.
Can't get them to send me
I don't know
kit,
if the Union know that.
Yeah. Well, the Union sent kits out to all these
you just doing this to the pod listeners is probably more than anyone else does in terms of providing the Union.
It's a good point.
Yeah.
But so anyway, I think that'd be a fun
love it. All right, let's quickly. You have the app open.
I do.
Quickly want to look at some NBA futures, and then
I have a football future thought.
Oh, good. All right, so give me that, and then I want to quickly just look at odds to win the title because the Sixers are a contender for that. So I just want to feel where that's at, and then we'll get out of here and look as the off season goes on. We're gonna get more again coming up in a couple of weeks. We'll do the baseball over unders. I'll go through every team for you. We're gonna have a lot of fun with these sports, so it is fun to be involved in.
So my future football advice would be that I think right now is maybe the best time of the year to bet futures.
Yeah.
Because what you're doing is, like, if you're a diehard football fan, which if you're listening to this, you're aware of the rumors. You know the possibilities. You know, like, Aaron Rodgers could go here. You know that, like, Derek Carr is deciding where he could go. And I'm sure the markets reflect it somewhat. But I think, like, last year we talked about this with Russell Wilson, which obviously ended up not working out, right? But like, if you think Aaron Rodgers is still good and you think he might go to the Jets, like, the Jets are a great team to bet because they're going to get another quarterback and those odds are going to drop. So I think right now, from a futures perspective, like, sprinkling around some shekels on teams you think could either have a good draft or, like, whatever, right? I think now is a really good time to do it.
I think that's a really smart idea.
And you get the longest odds. Like, free agency hasn't happened. Like, the teams have a ton of cap space. Like, look at those teams that, like, could add a lot of players.
It's a great point. It's a great point. Same thing with MVP and stuff like that. You know, look at guys like Hurts last year. If you had, and granted, it wouldn't have ended up winning, but if you bet on Hurts at plus 4,000 or 4,500, like, that was a great bet.
Yeah.
Like, you didn't win, but you looked at when they got AJ.
Well, the best bets are the ones.
Right. Yeah. When they made all those moves, it's like, oh, wow, all this talent around him, like, you're betting on a leap. Like, you know, think about that. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
And the Hurts sleep is unique. It's the best sleep I've ever seen, all that.
Right.
But it is the type of stuff where you can use, you know, your knowledge of the game to think ahead and take it. Elliot is right. These odds, and especially certain teams' odds, are not going to get better than the universe. All right, I pulled them up here. Do you have them up?
I have the NBA ones up.
Okay, we both got it. Okay, so we both got it.
Let me give you, you want me to do my Sixers thought, or you want to go first?
You do your Sixers thought, then we'll do the odds.
Okay. Well, first, if you're listening to this, I do a Sixers pod with Kyle Newbeck.
Yes!
Clap your hands.
Check it out.
Yeah. It's starting to pick up a little bit. I'm feeling good about it. Kyle's really, really good in terms of talking Sixers. And I'm okay at it. So, all right, here's my Sixers thought. And I'm curious where you're at with the team. Because, again, since you're either sleeping or working, I'm not really aware of how you feel about it. So, sure. I think the Sixers, so they won last night in Miami, obviously lost the game before, barely beat the Grizzlies. Like, I think when I look at the whole league, I think the Sixers are probably a top 4 team in the NBA. I think the Celtics.
You're talking like talent-wise?
No, like just like if I did power rank them, like I think they're top 4.
Like you're taking record, how they're playing.
Yeah,
like
exactly. All those things.
So it'd be the Nuggets, it'd be
so
Boston, Milwaukee, and them.
So I would put Boston and Milwaukee ahead of them. I would
have to put the Nuggets ahead. You have to.
Okay, well,
crazy nuts. Nuggets have the best record in the Western Conference.
And I know you could use the same thing against the Sixers. But I think if the Sixers played the Nuggets in a 7-game series,
I think you're
they
insane,
would win. Well, they beat them earlier this year.
In a regular season
I'm
game.
Saying they did.
Going to Denver would have the home court advantage. You think they're winning a game in Denver?
I
do.
Team?
Oh,
yeah.
I think you're crazy.
Because Embiid
it's the
always
home court advantage in the sport, in all sports. It is the biggest home field advantage in sports.
So Embiid always outplays Jokic when they play head-to-head, right? And I think if you put the best 3 players in that series, we could debate Jokic and Embiid 1. I'd put Embiid 1, but like whatever. Harden, in my opinion, is the clear number 3.
In a playoff series, I mean, Jamal Murray's had
way
better playoff series than James Harden.
Well, I don't know if that's completely true because
Harden's never done anything in the
No. That's not fair. Harden has had really good playoff series. Jamal Murray had 1 year. It's not like Jamal Murray. Well, I'm saying Harden has had.
Does anyone trust James Harden in the playoff series?
Well, but do you trust Jamal Murray?
More than at least I've seen the one time he was in the playoffs, dude was freaking awesome.
Right, but that's the point I'm making. It was one time and it was a major knee.
I'm not saying it's like a lock better, but I'm just saying like I don't think you can definitively say in a playoff series that James Harden is the 3rd best player in a series. Like
I feel
overall it is, but look again, Harden has been such a disappointment in the playoffs compared to
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about Harden.
And either
I
way,
think his playoff disappointment
Nuggets,
gets
like if we're just doing varying, if we're being fair, the Nuggets have absolutely been better this year.
I agree with you. I agree.
Like you just have to put them ahead of them.
Well, but I think what the Nuggets have that the Sixers also have, so maybe that evens out, is the Nuggets have also been playoff disappointments. They had the one run in the bubble. But
so for what it's worth, the Nuggets a significant favorite over the Sixers. So just to give everyone an idea of where the title odds are at, Boston is number 1 at plus 300 to win it all, which are really low odds. I mean, again, I can't believe the favorite is that low right now. I mean, I would expect. Like,
I don't remember, but last year, I mean, we're about to be in the playoffs.
I know. Yeah, I guess it's not that crazy, but still, I would. Milwaukee at plus 450. The Suns at plus 450, which is obviously just based on Durant, but they have not, played great yet.
Yeah, well, they did. Durant played his first game last night, and they won. Well, I should say I'm pretty sure they won.
Nuggets plus 600, and then the Sixers along with the Clippers at plus 1,000.
The Clippers plus 1,000
That is an
pretty
insane
wild.
bet. I would not bet it.
So here,
what's your favorite bet here? So you were talking about the top four. What's your favorite bet? Who's your fourth bet?
Right.
Because you had the
So-
Sixers, the two. So you have all these.
I do think the Celtics are the best team in the NBA.
I think so too. I think it's them with the Bucks.
But
I mean,
but
right
the
now
Bucks
the Bucks
at plus 450,
Bucks
they're
won,
playing
15
unbelievable.
15
Yeah.
straight or something like that.
The Celtics, for what it's worth, like
They've
I
just
mean,
been
Jalen Brown's
start to
dealing with the
finish,
face
they
thing. I know
felt
he's
like-
played, but I would probably at this point. It really comes down to who you think wins the Bucks Celtics series. So from the Sixers perspective, even though they're long odds, I do not like the Sixers to win.
Well, that's the point. I don't either, especially because either Boston or Milwaukee is going to be the one seed. Like it's just the way it's
I
gonna shake
think
out
they're
this way.
4.5 back now.
Right, and with the schedule and all that, and that means that you have to beat both Boston and Milwaukee. You know, like that's a really tough run.
Well, there is a chance. Yeah, you probably are going to have
You
to. I'm
have
trying to
be
think of how
talking
you
about
would
there
get
is no
around.
chance.
Yeah, you're right. You're
Unless
right.
you're
You're
the
right.
one seed.
You're right. You're right.
Unless
you're
you're the
right.
one seed,
You're right.
you're going to have to face, the other of those teams
Yep,
twice.
you're right,
I mean,
yeah.
again, someone else could beat Milwaukee in the first round, but I mean, come on.
No,
like,
the Bucks and Celtics
let's
are
be
going to make
honest,
it
like,
out the first round.
you're almost definitely going to have to face Milwaukee
Yeah.
and Boston to get to the title. And I don't see the Sixers winning either of those series. I would pick either of those two teams against the Sixers. And it just comes back to my basic thing with the Sixers and where I'm at. And I've said this all season long, like, I'm not going to pick them to get out of the second round until they get out of the second round. Like, I just can't do it. I need to see it with my own eyes. I need to see them get past that hump.
So here's
And
what.
again, on top of that, I just think Milwaukee and Boston are better.
So here's where I'm a little different with you on that. I agree that I would pick Milwaukee to beat them, and I would pick the Celtics for sure to beat them. I think they have a better chance against Milwaukee, although Milwaukee is playing better now than they were a month ago. But my thing with the Sixers is, like, the second round disappointment thing is very much there, but it's because they were upset by the Hawks. It's because they've lost to teams that weren't that good in the second round. What sucks for them now is there is no shame.
The Raptors won the title.
Yeah, but that was a very close series. It sucks they lost, but
It was,
yeah.
but it wasn't.
But what I'm saying is there's no like shame in losing to Milwaukee or Boston. It just sucks that.
Well, it would.
That's your-
I agree.
Like-
You're right. Holistically,
Yeah.
these
Like they're
teams,
very
they're
good.
better.
You can
They
make the
are better.
argument they're the best two teams in the NBA.
I think they are.
Yeah.
I think those two. If I had to pick, I would pick one of four teams most likely to win the title. I would pick one of those two. I'd probably pick Phoenix next, just because of the talent.
Yeah, although it is tough to do it.
And then I'd probably put the Nuggets ahead of them. But
Yeah.
so real quick, and then we'll get out of here. But if you had to pick a long shot on here, just looking at the long shot, so let's say plus 1,000.
I mean, the Sixers.
plus
are,
1,000
but-
or more. See,
I mean, the Mavs, just because.
I think the Warriors are a really interesting long shot.
So my Mavs
The
argument would
Warriors
be
made the Bay trade to get better.
right.
They're only a few games out of like.
Although, do you
the
see they're
3 seed.
1-4 with Kyrie and Luka, which is fluky.
Well, that's
but
what I'm saying.
whatever.
I don't trust Dallas at all. Are you kidding me? You think Dallas?
No.
I
But,
don't want anything to do with Dallas. I don't trust Kyrie in the playoffs at all. 0%.
oh, really?
Why would you?
Well, I mean, he's been awesome in the playoffs.
Not for years.
Well, you just brought up Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray was 3 years ago.
No, I brought Jamal Murray in comparison to James
To
Harden.
Harden,
I'm
yeah.
not saying
Well,
Jamal
but-
Murray's a superstar or anything like that in the playoffs. Like he had one.
So the
good playoff.
Warriors obviously make a ton of sense at plus.
I just think the
1600.
Warriors at plus 1,600 makes sense. They get
Yeah,
to the playoffs.
you're right. That's
like,
a better bet.
You're not going to want to see the Warriors in the playoffs. So I think that's an interesting.
But the
one.
Mavs plus 2,000 again. The West is wide open.
I
like,
agree with
wide
that.
open.
I just don't. I am not betting on. Do you want to have money on Kyrie?
With Luka, yeah,
Trusting
I would.
Kyrie,
I,
trusting Kyrie.
Yeah.
Look, I love Luka. I think Luka. I've told you this. I would, if I were starting a team tomorrow, Luka would be the guy.
But I
would
think
pick him
there-
over everyone
yeah.
in the NBA to start a team. Like he's my
I think
top
there's
guy.
a difference between betting on Kyrie for a full year and betting
Nah.
on him going into the playoffs.
I don't think so.
Okay,
I don't think so. Not
I think
anymore,
the
man.
Mavericks
I
can
trust.
go in-
I trust Kyrie 0.
it's fair.
I'd rather have James Harden in a playoff series. And
Okay.
I just told you how bad I.
Wow.
That.
All right. Well, anyway, so Warriors plus 1,600. Obviously, I think you're right. Is a good one. Mavs plus 2,000. I mean, the Grizzlies plus 1,600. I just don't believe in them, but for what
They're
it's
not
worth-
going to win it, and like I don't think they ever get through these. But the Heat are a weird team where they win close games and they find ways. Only because it's plus 5,000.
Yeah.
Like they got to the finals a couple years ago. Like that just seemed. I don't think the Heat are winning the title, but the fact that they're plus 5,000 kind of jumped off the page for me
Yeah.
there a little bit. But
Yeah,
That's about
I would agree. I
mean,
wouldn't.
the Kings
bet it.
are like the Kings are plus 10,000. They're like the 3 seed
Yeah.
or whatever. Right
I think
now.
there's like I said, 4 or 5 teams that could realistically win it, and you could debate if the Sixers are on that list.
Yeah.
Is kind of how I view it.
All right,
but yeah, that's it.
Let's get out of here.
That's all I got.
I'm gonna go to bed. Final thoughts.
Yes. My only final thought would be I'm dealing with like a car hell right now.
Oh no.
So a month ago, I went to get my car inspected, and it like
The white car.
the white car.
So you
So-
and Chrissy. I'm just making
yeah.
sure. Yeah.
So apparently, there's 2 inspection stickers. Like there's
There's an emissions.
Yes,
and
exactly,
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So it passed one, but they couldn't get the headlight to turn on the left side. So that one is still failing. But I have to find like a specific type of dealer to go fix it. And it's just like,
Sounds horrible.
it's so annoying.
Sounds horrible.
It's just
There's nothing worse than like
it's so annoying.
everyday stuff that like is super annoying that you have to get done.
It's like and I want to go back to the place that did and be like, can't you just pass it?
Guys, cool.
So anyway,
Older brother.
if you're listening and you're into cars, maybe help me out and DM me.
All right. My last thing, as I mentioned before, I'll just go back to what I said. This is my new phrase for when, because here's the thing. I'm not trying to make an excuse, but then sometimes you have like a real valid,
Right.
It's not always excuses, but sometimes it is not. This is my new phrase that I use.
All right.
Anyway. No excuses, just explanations.
Oh yeah, where's that?
Pretty good. I made it up. I've never heard it anywhere.
Really?
I might have said it to you before.
I've heard it, so yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
No excuses.
Oh, you did text this to me. That's
I think
right.
I
It is
texted
really,
it.
really
It's a
good.
good phrase.
I'm
right?
surprised it's not like a poster.
I
somewhere.
agree. And who knows? Maybe
Honestly, it also sounds like something Jalen would say.
it does, right?
You know, like after a game, like no excuses, just explanations.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway,
I might try to like plant that seed. See if
it's
a good
if
one.
I can get Jalenism, come
Yeah,
on.
then you're
what a win. All right. We'll be back not on Saturday again. The Phillies spring training
Yes, that is right.
just does not want us to be doing our live show.
Yeah,
on
not the
Saturdays.
next week either.
Yeah, but we'll be back soon. And of course, next week, pods, the whole thing.
Yes.
Until then, Elliott's going to get some sleep. He's on news. Boom. All right, so I'll post this after I record, friends. I'll just post it back to back.
Let me hit.
Fred,
Thank you
did
guys.
See you guys.